You've probably heard of diabetes and know it's a common disease. But what exactly happens in the body with diabetes? Simply put, diabetes is a condition where blood sugar, glucose, levels remain constantly elevated. This happens either because the pancreas produces little or no insulin, as in type 1 diabetes, or because the body cannot effectively use its own insulin, as in type 2 diabetes. Insulin is a hormone that helps cells absorb glucose from the blood and turn it into energy. Without sufficient insulin action, glucose gets stuck in the blood and starts damaging blood vessels and organs from the inside. There are two main types of diabetes. Type 1 diabetes usually begins in childhood or adolescence, though it can occur in adults too. It is an autoimmune condition. The body mistakenly destroys insulin-producing cells in the pancreas. People with type 1 diabetes need insulin therapy from the moment of diagnosis and for life. Type 2 diabetes more commonly develops in adults, although it's affecting younger people more often now, and is mainly associated with insulin resistance. The body has insulin, but cells don't respond to it properly. About 90% of all diabetes cases globally are type 2. This type can often be managed with diet, oral medication, and sometimes insulin at later stages. Why is diabetes becoming more common? Over recent decades, the number of people with diabetes has skyrocketed worldwide. It's estimated that over 500 million adults globally live with diabetes, roughly 1 in 9 people. The steepest rise is seen in type 2 diabetes. Experts link this to lifestyle changes. People generally consume more calories and move less than before. The obesity epidemic fuels the diabetes epidemic, since excess weight dramatically increases the risk. Other contributing factors include population aging and improved diagnostics. More cases are being identified. Unfortunately, efforts to stop the global rise in diabetes have been largely unsuccessful. Even global health goals set to halt obesity and diabetes growth by 2025 have not been met. Instead, numbers keep climbing. In short, diabetes has become a serious public health challenge worldwide. It's important to detect diabetes as early as possible, before high sugar levels cause damage. So what signs should you watch for? The classic symptoms of high blood sugar include excessive thirst and dry mouth, frequent urination, increased appetite, especially for sweets, unexplained weight loss, constant fatigue, and blurry vision. In type 1 diabetes, these symptoms may appear suddenly and be very intense. In type 2, they often develop gradually and may be subtle. A person can live for years with mildly elevated glucose levels without realizing it. That's why type 2 is often diagnosed accidentally or when complications are already present. This is why knowing your risk and getting screened matters. The risk factors for type 2 diabetes are well known. The main ones are being overweight or obese and having a sedentary lifestyle. The more fat tissue and the less physical activity, the more resistant the cells become to insulin. Risk also increases with age. After about 40 to 45, it's wise to monitor blood sugar. Family history is important. If close relatives have diabetes, your risk is higher. Other risk factors include gestational diabetes, during pregnancy, certain ethnic backgrounds, chronic stress, poor sleep, and smoking. Knowing your risks means you can act early. How to check if you have diabetes? The simplest is a blood sugar test. There are several types. The most common is fasting glucose, measured after 8 hours with no food. Normal fasting glucose is up to 5.5 millimoles per liter, 99 milligrams per deciliter. A reading of 7.0 millimoles per liter, 126 milligrams per deciliter, or higher on 2 separate occasions means diabetes. Values between 5.6 to 6.9 are considered prediabetes. There's also an oral glucose tolerance test. You drink 75 g of glucose and have blood drawn again after 2 hours. If it's 11.1 millimoles per liter, 200 milligrams per deciliter, or higher, diabetes is confirmed. Another useful test is HbA1c, glycated hemoglobin, which shows your average blood sugar over the past 3 months. A value of 6.5% or more indicates diabetes. This test is convenient because it isn't affected by meals or stress. Doctors recommend that healthy people over 45 get screened for diabetes every 3 years, even if they feel fine. If you're overweight or have risk factors, start screening earlier and more often. Early diagnosis is a chance to control the disease and prevent complications. After a diabetes diagnosis, one of the first big questions is, what can I eat and what should I avoid? Nutrition is the cornerstone of diabetes control. Unfortunately, many myths surround diabetic diets. Some people think they must give up sweets forever and eat only buckwheat. In fact, a person with diabetes can and should have a varied, enjoyable diet, just with some key adjustments. The main principle: stabilize your blood sugar levels. To avoid spikes, meals need a balance of carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Carbohydrates affect blood sugar the most, so both quantity and quality matter. Prefer slow carbs, whole grain bread and cereals, legumes, vegetables. They're rich in fiber and raise glucose slowly. Fast sugars, candies, cakes, sugary drinks, should be minimized. That doesn't mean you can never enjoy dessert, but such treats should be rare and modest in portion. There's no one-size-fits-all diet for diabetes. Different people benefit from different styles of eating. But everyone should cut added sugar and refined foods and increase vegetables. Mediterranean-style diets or low-carb variations with lots of non-starchy veggies work well for many. A Mediterranean diet includes vegetables, greens, legumes, fruits, whole grains, fish, olive oil, and nuts. It's sustainable long-term and effective. Low-carb or keto diets can also help lower glucose and weight, but they restrict fruits and grains and may be hard to maintain. A practical tip: use the plate method. Mentally divide your plate in half. 1/2 should be vegetables. 1/4 is for protein, meat, fish, eggs, tofu, legumes. The last 1/4 is for complex carbs, grains, potatoes, whole bread, fruit. This ensures satiety and stable glucose. Eat regularly and avoid skipping meals. Weight loss is also a powerful medicine for type 2 diabetes. Losing just 5 to 10% of your weight can significantly improve glucose levels and even lead to remission. Healthy eating should become a long-term lifestyle, not a short-term diet. Less sugar and fat, more vegetables and lean protein, that benefits not only your glucose, but your overall health and well-being. Everyone's heard exercise is good for diabetes, but not everyone realizes how important it is. An active lifestyle is medicine without pills. When you exercise, muscles use more glucose from the blood. They can even absorb sugar without extra insulin. So physical activity lowers blood glucose during and after the workout. It also makes your cells more insulin sensitive for up to a day afterward. That's why exercise is often called natural insulin. What kinds of exercise are best? Honestly, any kind you enjoy and do regularly. Walking, running, cycling, swimming, dancing, or even vigorous housework, it all counts. Aim for at least 150 minutes per week. That's just 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, achievable for most. In addition to aerobic activity, cardio, include strength training twice a week. That means lifting weights or using your body weight, squats, push-ups, etc. Strengthening muscles helps your metabolism and glucose control. Exercise benefits people with both type 1 and type 2 diabetes. But if you take insulin or glucose-lowering pills, be cautious. Always check blood sugar before exercising. If it's low, have a small snack. Intense workouts can cause hypoglycemia. Carry something sweet just in case, juice or glucose tablets. And check sugar afterward, as delayed lows are also possible. Work with your doctor to adjust meds and food around workouts. The benefits are huge. Regular exercise helps with weight, protects your heart and vessels, improves sleep and mood. People with diabetes who move regularly have better glucose control and fewer complications. So move for your health, it's one of the best investments you can make. Diabetes is notorious for its complications. Chronically high blood sugar slowly damages organs, eyes, kidneys, nerves, heart, and vessels. Glucose acts like a toxin inside blood vessels. Over time, this causes serious chronic conditions. Diabetes is the leading cause of adult blindness and kidney failure globally. Nearly half of diabetics develop neuropathy, nerve damage causing numbness, pain, or loss of sensation in the limbs. Cardiovascular risk also skyrockets, heart attacks, strokes. Poor circulation in the legs can lead to ulcers and even gangrene. But here's the good news, most complications are preventable. The key is consistent diabetes control and a healthy lifestyle. Keep glucose levels close to target. This drastically reduces the risk of microvascular damage, eyes, kidneys, nerves. Follow your treatment plan, monitor sugar with a glucometer or sensor, and take medication as prescribed. Also control other risk factors. Diabetes often coexists with high blood pressure and cholesterol. Manage blood pressure, under 130/80, and take meds for cholesterol if needed. Quit smoking, it severely damages blood vessels and makes diabetes worse. Regular checkups are essential. Even if you feel fine, get screened once or twice a year. Eye exams detect retinopathy early. Urine and blood tests monitor kidney function. A doctor will test your feet for sensation and reflexes. Examine your own feet daily for any cuts, sores, or blisters. See a doctor at the first sign of trouble. In short, control glucose, pressure, and cholesterol. Move, eat well, don't smoke, and check in with doctors regularly. Many people with diabetes never experience serious complications when they follow these steps. Finish, let's tackle the big question, can diabetes be cured? The answer depends on the type. Type 2 diabetes can sometimes go into remission. That means blood sugar returns to normal levels without meds, and stays that way for months. This is most likely in overweight patients who lose a lot of weight. Programs with strict low-calorie diets have helped many achieve remission. The earlier the diabetes, the higher the chances, before the pancreas loses its insulin-producing ability. Bariatric surgery, stomach reduction, is another option that often leads to long-term normalization of glucose. But remission is not a cure. It's like a fire put out, but the embers remain. If you regain weight or go back to unhealthy habits, diabetes can return. Still, remission is real, achievable, and gives people motivation and hope. As for type 1 diabetes, a cure doesn't exist yet. But technology has changed the game. Insulin pumps and continuous glucose monitors can mimic a natural pancreas, delivering insulin automatically and maintaining stable sugar with far less effort. Scientists are working on even more, drugs to delay the onset of type 1, and stem cell therapies that may one day replace destroyed beta cells. Some people in trials have gone months without needing insulin after such treatment. It's early, but promising. New medications for type 2 have also appeared. They not only lower sugar, but aid weight loss and protect the heart. Bottom line, a complete cure doesn't exist, yet. But control is absolutely possible. Remission is possible. A full, long, active life, very possible. Diabetes is serious, but not a life sentence.